The one thing that Cade Cunningham needs to do to make his ascension to being one of the best players in the NBA is what Luka Doncic is showing him right now, is that he needs to get bigger. He needs to get bigger. One of the things that I think a lot of us enjoyed about getting to know Cade Cunningham over his first few seasons is just how committed he was to his body, despite the injuries, despite the um, struggling with, being out all year, having the stress fracture, things of that nature. He has shown us that he has the skill set to be dominant in the NBA. He has the talent, he has the basketball IQ, the wherewithal that many of us, when we first saw him, immediately we pointed to Luka Doncic, another 6'7" point guard who can facilitate, who can orchestrate an offense, who has the requisite skills, the floater, the pull-up jump shot, the touch, the passing feel, the basketball IQ to manipulate and to completely throw a defense off of its heels, um, to be able to put defenders in jail behind him, to be able to get to his spots at will. He's got the handle, he's got the court vision. He has so much going for him. And yet there's one last piece. He's got to get bigger. He needs to get stronger. He needs to have that ability to bump defenders off of him using his mass, much like James Harden did, much like LeBron does, and like Luka does. To be able to get defenders on his hip to where he's so wide and so strong that being on his hip, you might as well be behind him. Because a little nudge, a little step into you bounces you off of him. And this is something that, as we're also seeing, pays dividends in the playoffs. When you are physically strong, when you physically have the body to be able to move defenders off of you, it makes the game a little bit easier. It allows you to draw more fouls and get to the free throw line. It makes defenders more tentative about getting up into you, which is something that he really struggled with this season because when defenders would get really up into him, they were able to disrupt his handle. And I think some of that was also chemistry and continuity, knowing where guys are going to be at, his role in terms of getting guys involved and balancing, trying to take over, dealing with double teams. But I think he also could use that physical mass that just keeps guys off of him. You see, when guys even want to pressure Luka, he just turns his body sideways. He says, "Go ahead, try to reach around me. I'm too wide. I'm too big. You're gonna have to reach all the way around and likely end up fouling and slapping my arm. And when you do or you don't hit my arm, I'm just gonna be able to wheel in this very skillful spin move or putting the ball behind my back. And I'm gonna go the opposite direction that you reached. And then you're gonna be behind me. And I'm gonna get to wherever I want. And I'm gonna break down your defense as a result." And so it makes him that much more imposing of an offensive force. Now, I think that he's going to be able to put on weight better than Luka, who started off kind of on the doughy side, on that Carmelo Anthony side, where you could just always look at him and be like, yeah, you could probably get in better shape. You could probably get a little bit, more trim. I think Cade is going to trend the opposite direction, where he's going to get bigger, but he's going to put on good weight. He's going to put on good weight, even if it's 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, right? He's going to be able to grow in his weight like Paul George did, starting off more wiry, slim, and then as he adds weight, he's not necessarily slowing down. It's not detracting from his explosiveness, his quickness, his ability to maximize his athleticism. And I think it's also going to make him the type of player that can really maximize his game. And I think on both ends, his ability to play more physical defense. Right now, I do think that they're going to have to continue to plan for his body type and his inability to guard most opposing point guards. You're going to have to bring in somebody alongside of him, whether it's Jaden Ivey or it's a free agent. They're going to have to be the point of attack defender. I don't think that's ever going to be something that Cade is going to be able to do. That's not something you should even be asking him to do at this point. I think that's evident. But I think getting stronger is going to allow him to abuse opposing point guards. He's going to have that Magic Johnson body. He's going to have that Luka, that James Harden, that LeBron James, where you cannot put somebody smaller on me. You're going to have to put a wing defender, which is going to open up things for other wing offensive players on this team, whether it's an Asar Thompson, whether it's Brandon Ingram, whether it's someone else that you have, um, it's going to open things up because that best wing perimeter defender is going to have to be the one to guard Cade. He's going to have to be physical enough, long enough, athletic enough, strong enough to be able to stay with somebody his potential size. He's got to get up to about 220, 225 next season instead of a 215, 218. And he's going to have to be able to use that physical size and force, which I think he will wonderfully. I think some other things that we're also going to see is he's going to come in a better shooter. I think you're going to see him iron out his shooting efficiency. I think the entire team is going to become that much better as an efficient team, less turnovers, which also I think getting stronger is going to help him with as well. Knowing his teammates now going into a second season, a full off season of Rico Hines, coming into training camp, in shape, able to really compete, knowing the rest of his guys and how they play, because he's definitely somebody who wants to get others involved. I think you're going to see the efficiency uptick. And I think he's going to have the opportunity to really step into that elite level of what this team is and what they can be. But with that, I want to know what you all think. What do you think that next step is for Cade Cunningham? Because I don't really think it's a skill issue. I don't think he needs to get better ball handling. He has great ball handling. He just needs to know how to use it better, and how to protect himself from getting ripped by a smaller player. And I think the size will help there. I don't think it's shooting. I think he's a really good shooter as is. He just needs to know where his shots are going to come from so he can shoot more efficiently. And most young players take a while to become efficient shooters. So I would not pretend that he's not going to become a high level shooter. I think him and Ivy are going to eventually become 38 to 40+% 3-point shooters on volume. But yeah, as always, holler at me in the comment section. Uh, Let me know what you think. We're going to chop it up there. Like, subscribe, share the video with your friends, talk about it in a group chat, and get back to me in the comment section. I'll get at y'all later. Peace.